I went in to study education with English and drama. And I feel like that degree allowed me to explore different things. Education for teaching, English for writing, for speaking, for debating, and drama because I loved to perform. There's a place for putting in the work and really developing your skill and really getting to be the best at what you do.
And let's come back to motherhood.
I was waiting for that.
First of all, I want to ask, did it change you?
100%. Let's be real. You never really remain the same after giving birth. Sometimes someone will say, I don't want to reach out to Isabella, or I don't want to reach out to this person because maybe they are pregnant or they are breastfeeding.
And
So I'm like, okay, so because I'm pregnant, is it not my mouth I'm using to do the work? Did I tell you that I can't MC? How do you know that I don't even need that money?
I love this. So it's not just about saying, because we're talking about ambition, you don't have to be in the marketplace. So even if you decide to be a stay-at-home mom, you can be productive.
Showing up as a mother involves you stepping out of the home and rising up to the occasion, whether it's at work, ministry, your calling, volunteering, even when you stay at home as a mother, so that you don't lose your mind and your sanity. You still need to have a life.
Welcome to season 3 of Voices with Victoria. This is where it shifts. We're going to be anchoring real conversations on deep truths, on strategies, behind the scenes, and many more with fabulous and deep individuals. My message is clear in this season. We don't have to have it all figured out. For some of us, we're winging it, but the most important thing is that you move regardless. And I've been honored and privileged to sit with amazing guests who will be taking us through their behind the scenes, who would also be sharing insight, strategies on how they're able to navigate their lives. I believe strongly that nobody has it all figured out 100%. However, when we look back, we should be able to say that we winged it right because of certain lessons, experiences, expertise, education, and exposure that we've been able to come in contact with. And I do hope that this season will do all of this and more for you. Follow us on all our social media handles at Victoria Undu and Voices with Victoria. And if any of the episodes speaks to you, do well to share with your community of friends and let us know as well. Do enjoy a great time. This is where it shifts. Welcome back to another episode of Voices with Victoria. And of course, your host, Victoria Undu here. It's such a delight, great delight, as you can tell from my voice and my face, that I have somebody very special in the studio today. Today's conversation is anchored. This is where it shifts. We're going to be talking about transitions. We're going to be talking about real truth. We're going to be talking about, honest, real conversations that we need to have concerning transitions, growth, motherhood, everything in between. And today, I have the honor and pleasure of having, in fact, will I say from Cambridge to Nigeria, from media to, in fact, all of those things in between. And I'll just do the honors of doing a brief introduction of who she is and then put the spotlight on her. Today, in the studio with me is Isabella Adedeji, and she holds a degree in education with English and drama from the University of Cambridge. She's the founder and managing director of Yellow Tamarind Productions, a Lagos-based company that blends media, PR, edtech to shape stories, platforms, and public narrative. Her stage name is The Intelligent MC. And of course, you can tell. She has hosted TV and radio shows such as Rubbing Minds, and she also hosts the very famous podcast, Family Life Podcast. And it's been such an amazing, great content she's pushing out on there. Today, we're going to be leaning into the story of Isabella Adedeji. From being a Cambridge-educated educator, turned media maker, a storyteller, an Alaga. In fact, everything beautiful in between. Please present with a clapping ovation, Isabella. Hi, Isabella.
Hello.
Such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here because not too long ago you were on For Families podcast.
Yes.
And now I'm back. Yes. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And I love the themes you said in your intro on shift, growth,
Transitions.
motherhood, transitions, everything in between. Like that's so timely. And I think a lot of your viewers will be able to resonate with this.
Yeah, yeah. And I did this in the initial introduction I did, but I think that it's good to also re-echo here that somebody mentioned some time ago that we're all winging it. Even the very successful people who have their life all figured out, or who seem to have their life all figured out, getting results, getting things done in different areas of their life, are still winging it. The only difference is they are winging it right. When they look back and see patterns, they'll say, oh, this is how I got here, right? Nobody truly knows the end from the beginning to say, if I do this, assuredly I'll get this. But success always leaves clues. And that's why we want to have this conversation that even if we're winging it, how can we wing it right? And it's such an honor to have you as a guest because I think that you speak to that in different ways. But before we get right into the conversation, I have done my own introduction of who you are. I always like my guests to introduce themselves. Tell us who you are.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Now I feel like I've been put on the spot, but that's a good one. Okay, my name is Isabella Adedeji. I'm a media entrepreneur and educationist. I'm the founder and managing director of Yellow Tamarind Productions. We're a Lagos-based media, PR, and production company. And in my spare time, I explore different aspects of my creativity. So whether it's content creation,
I love your recent
making,
content you've been putting out.
skit making, content creation, social media influencing. That's very new for me, podcasting. But most people know me for my work as the intelligent MC as a compare, or Alaga Isabella, Alaga Loibo, Alaga Tolo Cambridge, a traditional wedding compare, and also a broadcaster. I've hosted several television and radio programs, and I love to teach. I've taught in secondary schools, sixth form college, and I'm planning to be teaching online. I've also taught on TV and I train people. So I think that encapsulates a lot of what I do.
There's a lot. And we're going to come to that and that's one of the angle and the anchors to the conversation I want us to drive at today. But let's talk about, first of all, the introduction. Everything that you've spoken about has to do with your mouth. Have you noticed?
Wow.
From content creation to even education that is formal stuff still has to do with your mouth. Teaching, everything. And then when I did a research on you, I think your grandmother, somebody in the family, mentioned something about your mouth.
Always talking
and they've called you names like chatterbox and all of those things. This was like a fulfilling prophecy that has eventually happened. Did you, at every point in time, why growing up, knew that this is the point that you wanted to be at?
Absolutely not. While growing up, I think I wanted to be many things. I wanted to, at a point, be a bookseller. Like I wanted to work in a bookshop because I loved books, and I went to the bookshop and I just thought, you know what, if I worked in the bookshop, then I could have access to all these books. Then another time I thought, you know what, I want to be a market woman and I'm going to sell chicken and eggs. And it sounded so cool in my head because I was like, I will sell the chickens and then the chickens will lay eggs. So that's like double, right?
Oh my God.
And obviously everyone has wanted to be a doctor, lawyer, and all those traditional careers. I think somewhere in secondary school, I knew that I wanted to go into the arts. So even though I was top of my class, in fact, top of the set, and there was a lot of pressure for me to go into the sciences by teachers, I stood my ground and went into the arts because I knew that that was where my calling was. I write, I speak, I debate, I perform. And I think I knew I would end up whether in teaching or acting or on TV, on radio. I just knew that I was going to end up communicating and but I don't think I saw it the way it has played out. Yes.
Amazing. So what was that transition like for you? What was the shift? I mean, you went to Cambridge. Not everybody. In fact,
yes, it is a big deal.
You should put it on your head. If I were just put it, just print it and put it on your head. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I don't think I always wanted to go to Cambridge or Oxford. I think it was just something that you heard as a child, like, if you're smart, you're going to go to Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard. But I never wanted to go to the UK. because I didn't want to do A levels. I already felt I lost a year when I went to the States. And instead of skipping primary six, I had to do primary six. So by the time I came back to Nigeria, I noticed I was a year behind. So the last thing I wanted was to finish 6 years of secondary school and then go and do 2 years of A levels. So I did everything but look for A levels. I did JAM, SATs, but somehow I found myself in England. I did the 2 years. And I would say in the second year, that's when you start thinking about universities. I was attending a state school, so like a public school, like you call it in Nigeria. And I just went to the careers room and I saw this alternative prospectus for Cambridge University, that it was what was written by students, so not the official one. And I just fell in love with the experience they were painting. It was like this lovely city, courses, and all sorts. So I that's how I actually wanted to go to Cambridge, because I saw that prospectus. And then every year, Oxford and Cambridge, they do this show where they go around different cities in the UK. And for whatever reason, that year, Oxford didn't come, but we went for the one that they did. So it was just Cambridge that was there. And I actually spoke to students from Cambridge. So it just sealed my decision. The first time I applied to about 6 universities: Cambridge, York, King's College, Bristol, UCL. And yes, I remember them. And UCL, and then Kiel. So at the end of the day, sorry, not Kiel, Loughborough. So that's 6 universities. All of them, apart from Loughborough, turned me down, including Cambridge. So this was me being predicted 4 A's at A levels, and out of 6 applications, I only got 1. That was Loughborough, English with Publishing. So I had to wait for my results to come out, and then I applied all over again, and I applied to Cambridge, Kiel, York. This time around, I got in Durham. That time they reduced it to like 5 universities, so I got into all 4 universities. Yes, and because I applied to 1 university for 2 courses, and then I got into Cambridge. So I went in to study education with English and drama, and I feel like that degree allowed me to explore different things: education for teaching, English for writing, for speaking, for debating, and drama because I loved to perform. I was acting in school, I was rapping. So English with education and drama was just that course that allowed me to just explore different things. And yeah, that was how I ended up in Cambridge.
And then you came back to Nigeria and joined. You became a corporate galley.
Yes. Coming back to Nigeria. So, I said I didn't really want to do the 2 years thing. Well, God knows how it works, because not only did I do 2 years, because I didn't get any of my offers
Initially.
and I only got that one from Loughborough, English with Publishing, and that was 2 B's and a C. I decided, you know what, I have my 4 A's, I might as well apply. So I took a gap year. Then I did my first year in Cambridge, and then I had issues with my student visa. So I came back to Nigeria, and my dad is a UK citizen, so you would have thought they would have given me the UK citizenship. They didn't. So there was no need for me to have applied for a student visa. But when I saw they weren't giving me the citizenship, even though my dad is a citizen, I had to come back to Nigeria to get the student visa. So I'd done 1 year in Cambridge thinking that, okay, they'll give it to me. They didn't. They refused my student visa application.
Ooh.
So I was now stuck in Nigeria trying to figure things out. And during that period, I even went to Unilag. I started thinking, okay, maybe I might have to leave Cambridge. And I had to write a letter to Cambridge, apply to take that year out, and then I had to also go to court my lawyers did, and we appealed the decision. I got the student visa. But by the time the student visa came out, I'd missed so much of school that they wouldn't have admitted me. So I had to wait a year. During that period, I started working. I got a job as an editorial intern at Kachifo Limited, which is, most people know it as Farafina. During that time in Farafina, I started hosting events. I'd hosted events in the UK, like kids events, but Farafina allowed me to start hosting things like book readings, moderating panels. And then during one of such events that I hosted, it was December 2008. Yeah. Someone saw me from Rhythm FM, and I thought, okay, I was going to get a radio gig. Around that same period, I tried out for Inspiration FM Radio Superstar, but it turned out that they weren't giving me a radio gig. They asked me to come and start like my book review segment on television. So Silverbed at that time, Today on STV was the leading breakfast show. You had the likes of Auntie Rati Doyle as one of the hosts. So I had my own book review segment on Silverbed television. During that same period, I tried out for Inspiration FM Radio Superstar, made it to the top 4, and I started getting my hands wet in media. So that was the radio, that was the TV, that was the publishing. And then I also reached out to publication and I started writing for True Love West Africa magazine. Thank you so much, Mrs. Balata. You know I love you so much.
We love you.
She really, like, my first publication, I had like maybe 7 things come out, and she didn't know me from anywhere. It was just this lady that sent her an email. And think about it, I was probably 22 at the time. So I was writing for True
22,
Love.
and with all of these experiences that you've shared.
22 and taking a gap year from uni while my mates had finished uni and doing NYSC, but God has his way of doing things. So I started writing for True Love. I wrote also for other magazines. I wrote for Next newspaper. I became a columnist, and eventually I went back to Cambridge. So you can see that by that time I'd had a taste of Nigeria, and I had a taste of work, and I knew I wanted to come back. So it was a very easy decision to come back. Now, going into corporate comms, it's interesting that you asked that question, because I had this conversation with a friend, was it yesterday or so? So my boyfriend at the time had this idea that I needed to do a corporate job. And in fact, he wanted me to do oil company work. If he even had his way, I would have stayed back in the UK maybe to get citizenship. But we decided I was going to come back. And he said, get oil company. As oil company was not forthcoming. You know, I was in Cambridge, and the MD at the time of Nestlé Nigeria PLC came, and I took a microphone and I was doing all that interviewing. And then I was working on a magazine as the editor, and there was an ad in the Nestlé magazine. So all of that led to him just saying, you know, when next you come to Nigeria, let's have a conversation. And literally, I had that conversation. I was like, I don't really know what I want to do, but you know, I want to get a formal job, because my boyfriend at the time had said so. And that was how corporate communications came on the table. So by the time I graduated, I was no longer with him, but I still had that offer on the table. So I thought, why not if not? So I came back. I graduated July 2011. Came back that same July. I did some journalism work with Lagos Fashion and Design Week, which is now Lagos Fashion Week. And then I resumed Nestlé August 1st. And in December, I went for NYSC, came back to Nestlé, and spent a couple of years while I was still doing the whole writing, red carpet hosting, and my heart was in TV, in radio. And even while I was in Nestlé, I was hosting events too, internal events as well. I was doing media relations. So I never quite left my first love for writing, speaking, interviewing, media, exactly. So that was how I got into corporate comms. So the relationships they can be so powerful, because sometimes I wonder if I wasn't in that relationship, or if he had advised me to just stay on that path of writing, of TV, radio, maybe I would have been like this big,
or maybe not. I think that is a positive fix as well. There are some experiences that I'm sure that there are things you picked up from the corporate job
definitely
that has helped you even now. And just trying to unpack your story, because there's a lot of lessons in it, from when you were volunteering at Cambridge, that the MD at the time saw you, so you had to put yourself on the spot. If not, you wouldn't even have gotten the offer.
Yes.
And then I'm just wondering, you had everything that's, in terms of, you had a leverage, and still you came back to Nigeria. If it was some people, probably even me, I would have been sulking, because why would you tell me to take a gap year, come back to Nigeria? Life is so unfair. God, why are you doing this? I mean, but in the space of that time, in the delay and in seeming setback, you still found yourself doing other things, because you mentioned many other things that you got on. And that's a powerful lesson that I think young persons need to take, that even in the face of setbacks or delays, there are still things that you can do in the meantime. while you're waiting for the
Definitely.
eventual one to happen.
Definitely.
And that's such a powerful thing. Now, how did you not eventually transition from corporate comms at, or were you not happy? And then what was the shift? Because this season is about shift, and it might not be corporate shift, it could be shift in any aspect of our players' lives. But at what point did you know that this is where it shifts? And what did you need to process to make that shift final?
So I won't lie, corporate comms was very interesting. I loved the opportunities it gave me because while I was in Cambridge, I used to edit a magazine called Aspire Magazine. It wasn't a Cambridge magazine, but so I was employed, and that was part of what also gave me that leverage too, because the MD saw me interviewing him, but he also saw the work I did with Aspire Magazine, and he was like, wait, you can come back. We have a staff quarterly magazine and you can totally do that. So, I mentioned I used to write for True Love. I've written for TW, This Day Style, Elan, Next Newspaper, and the like. So I was like, I will go and work in a corporate job, but I'll still get to do what I love, doing the staff quarterly magazine. So I enjoyed that for a while. And it also exposed me to media relations, investor relations, events, liaising with different stakeholders within the company, writing speeches for the MD. But I think I always knew that there was more to me. And that gap here, like you rightly said, that was meant to be a setback, opened my eyes to so many possibilities in the media. And I wanted that. So on the one hand, I was enjoying the magazine publishing, interviewing, traveling. I mean, Nestlé allowed me to travel across the country and even within West Africa. So I enjoyed that, and the safety of salary.
Yeah,
but
very important.
But I knew that there was more. I wanted to teach. I also wanted to explore my love for the media. I wanted to go back to hosting on TV, on radio, creating content, and I just knew I had to take that. I had to make that shift. But what really happened was, at a point, I became stagnant in that role. I didn't see I wasn't pushing myself anymore, and I don't know, the environment wasn't as conducive as I would have liked it to be, and I couldn't really see a clear path for me, because the people who had been in that department, they either leave the department and get promoted, or they leave the company to other things. So there was never a real path of succession. Yes. I mean, there were talks of me going to Ghana, but I didn't want to leave Nigeria. So I wasn't even interested in that idea of going to Ghana. So when I found that I wasn't really progressing anymore, the work wasn't interesting, and it was like I was, let me use the word failing in terms of my performance review. Yet on the outside, I was succeeding. So here I was running an online website, Nolly Silver Screen. I was reviewing movies. I was taking part in competitions. I was traveling around the country, outside of the country, to cover events, just on the basis of the same writing skills that I was using within corporate comms. So I just had to make that decision. You can't serve two masters. And I saw that outside, they were appreciating what they're probably taking for granted, and it was giving me so many international, national opportunities and allowing me to flourish. I will use my money to fund my passion. So I was publishing Nolly Silver Screen as an e-magazine. I was using my money to just improve myself. I learned a bit of graphic design. I was paying my contributors. So it just seemed like, why am I doing all of this? And on the side, I would get invited to do some media things. So yeah, I just knew that if I really wanted to exploit, now was the time, because I wasn't married, and for the most part I didn't have that many responsibilities. So I thought, if not now, and what's the worst that will happen? Yeah, many people discouraged me. They thought I lost my mind. I'm walking away from Nestlé, from a safety to, and I decided when I was leaving Nestlé, that was October 2015. No? Yes, October 2015. Yes, I decided that I was going to quit my job and become a part-time teacher. I was going to set up my company and then figure things out and use the small money I had saved to record a TV show.
Wow.
So I bet on myself. Yeah, that was it. I just said,
That's
you know
it.
what? I have this talent. So what's the worst that will happen? Like, really, I'll go hungry or what? I won't be able to pay my bills. Then I'll get another job.
Sure.
But at least I will know deep down in my heart that
Try.
I've given this.
Sure.
Yes, exactly.
And I think what is powerful from what you said is, actually, as young people, we have that leverage of time.
Definitely.
And it's better to fail now,
Yes.
fail fast and move on. You understood that you had that currency of time. You're young, actually not married at that time.
No kids.
So it was very easy.
Like, I'm
Is
thinking
it not-
about someone's
Exactly.
school fees.
It was
I'm like,
very
look, I will
easy.
do this thing.
I think this is the point where we draw the end and say, if you're young, now is the time to explore and just do it. Because when you get older, you now start thinking of the many things. Should I not?
I'm
When you
telling
calculate
you.
1 + 1, you know that it's not 2. Right. And I what was very powerful also is take it bet on yourself.
Yes.
Take it bet on. But again, I can see that in the midst of taking a bet on yourself, you didn't push yourself out there on beat. You have the skills. So
Oh,
you were
yes.
good enough to actually succeed, while taking a bet on yourself. This is something that many people don't know, especially young people. When we rush out there, I want to start my own, I want to do my NGO, I want to do this, I want to do that. Do you have the capacity to try? From the stories you've told, you had the capacity to build any
That's
media
because I
company.
was still doing things on the side. So
Side.
weekends at night, I was doing red carpet hosting. Sometimes
Mm.
I was hosting a live radio show on Sunday evening. Sometimes they'll call me as a guest
Right.
to Rubbing Minds. I started off as a guest on Rubbing Minds, and
Wow.
I became a guest anchor, and I started hosting Rubbing Minds as a guest anchor in January 2020 and 2016. So it will be 10 years, January 2026.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So you can see that I was putting in the work. And a lot of it was unpaid for. So like, it was unpaid. So there's a place for putting in the work and really developing your skill and really getting to be the best at what you do. It was a lot of sacrifice, but I could do this because I had the safety of the paycheck from my 9 to 5. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's another wisdom dose there. And your presenter, producer, MC, Sisi Alaga.
Alaga, yes. And now people ask me, I say I'm a content creator.
You're
I
not-
say it with my full chest.
Yes,
Like,
so
what's the worst that can
Can
happen?
happen.
Really?
and because in this time where they say choose one, pick one.
Yeah.
You're somebody who has broken that rule.
So it wasn't always easy. But when I look back, when I was in secondary school, people used to call me Efiko because I was great at my academic work. But at the same time, I was also a rapper in school. I also was in the school
What
choir.
can't you do?
I was a debater. I did cultural dance. So I feel like I've always done plenty
Multiple
things.
at the same-
And
yeah.
I've gotten to a point, it took some time to be comfortable with showing the different parts of my capabilities, of myself. Because a lot of times people just want you to just niche down on one thing and be known for one thing. And it's great, but not everybody can be known for one thing. And we have different seasons in our lives. And sometimes people say, you do all these 10 things. I say, okay, I do all these 10 things. Is it every day I'm hosting? Is it every day I'm on TV? Is it every day I'm doing Alaga? Is it every day I'm writing? No. Is it every day I'm putting out content? No. Is it every day I'm teaching? So you can. And I think if we start mainstreaming these conversations and showing more people that wear multiple hats, then it won't be such a big deal. Be like, oh yeah, this person does this, but also does this and does this. So when you're asking your children, what do you want to be when you grow up, and they tell you 10 things, you're like,
Fine.
okay, it's fine. Yeah.
That's fine.
Very- yeah.
That's just so powerful, and I think that is a deliverance for a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but people who are multi-potentialized. Yes, you can do this, do that, do that. Yeah, it's a framework for that, to ensure that you don't lose yourself in all of the many things.
Honestly, I will go back to what you said. We're all winging it, right?
Exactly.
We're all winging it. We can look back and say, okay, maybe these are the
works.
clues. Yes. But what I will say is that it ties down to your purpose. People are like, why Nigeria? Why Nigeria? And it's because I feel like God has put Nigeria on my heart. And he allowed that gap year to happen because probably if it didn't happen, if you're in Cambridge, you get headhunted from your second, third year.
Right.
Big companies. It doesn't matter what you studied. You could have studied classics or Latin. You get headhunted and you make good money because it's Cambridge.
Yeah.
So to walk away from all of that was because I'd come to Nigeria and I'd seen the potential. And I knew that this was where I belonged. And even though I've gone through a lot in Nigeria, like the government has come without any warning to demolish our house. And my husband is like, look, if after this you still don't want to leave Nigeria, I don't know what will make you leave. And somewhere along the line, I know that I'm called to serve. So whether it's going to be in an appointed role, whether you're going to elect me, vote for me, I don't know. But I know that my purpose is in Nigeria. I know that I want to make Nigeria a better country. So for me, it's about going back to that why. And it's about dying empty. If I died today, I know that when people want to speak about me, they'll say, oh yeah, she did this, she did this, she did this. She died empty because she didn't wait for the perfect time.
Right.
Like she just went for it. Whether it worked or it did not work.
Regardless of labels or trying to stereotype
or
yourself.
someone saying, oh, it's going to affect your branding. People say, okay, yeah, an Alaga, traditional wedding company.
I was going to ask you on this because, please, try to logically think about it. From Cambridge, somebody who has had all of these things, and then you're doing Alaga. Please, let's explain what Alaga is for many of you who don't know.
Alaga is a traditional wedding company. They are very popular in the Yoruba tradition because marriages are between two families. So they are the spokesperson. So spokesperson for the bride's family, spokesperson for the groom's family, and they are the ones who do all the what is your motive here, or what is your mission? What is your mission here? Then you would now say, we are these people. We are here because of your beautiful flower. You are this, there's all the singing, the dancing, and all of that. At the heart of it, when you look at it, is a way to preserve our culture. I mean, we talk about a big Greek wedding. We talk about Indian weddings. Why can't we be talking about Nigerian weddings? And I'm glad that Nigerian weddings are now beginning to take their rightful position. Yeah. And an Alaga is a core part of a traditional wedding in the Yoruba culture. And what we're now seeing, because I've had a bride who saw my work representing not a Yoruba family for this matter, but being the spokesperson for a family that's Urobo, and the mother is Igbo. And she liked the way I did it. That she decided that, you know what, we don't need an Alaga because this is between Ishan and Urobo. And there were two other cultures. I think there was also Isoko and Ora. So there was no need for an Alaga. But because she saw that and enjoyed it, she asked me to come and be her Alaga. And her dad, who is a theater artist, was like, wow, I loved you. Gave us a good show. They had done the wedding in Delta State. So the one they were just doing was reception. But that's to show you like the potential. And we're seeing that some of the Alagas, like I trained other Mommy Shoko Yokoto. She's a broadcaster, but she's also an Alaga. And she has traveled around the world doing Alaga.
And I think other tribes are starting to embrace it.
Yes, because they like the drama, they like the singing, they like the dancing, they like the, the pizzazz, the panas, the creativity, the drama. So at the heart of it, am I not doing what I like? Drama.
Yes.
And I love culture. I love Nigeria. I love our tradition. So it's not so far-fetched when you break it down.
Yes.
And you disabuse your mind of what an Alaga should be. And I tell you that I'm Alaga Tolo Cambridge. Like, don't disrespect me. Like, my Cambridge degree is still my Cambridge degree.
And nobody can take that away.
I'm an Alaga. Yes.
Absolutely. I agree. This is, I enjoy this conversation because with all the stories, people can draw the different things. I'm sure that everybody's hearing different things and know what fits into their own expressions or their own situation and all of that. Now let's come back to motherhood.
I was waiting for that.
First of all, I want to ask, did it change you?
100%. And this one, let's be real. You never really remain the same after giving birth. In fact, let me not even just say giving birth, after becoming a mother, because you might become a mother and you didn't physically birth your child. You're still very much a mother.
Yeah.
So once you take on that role of, yes, it changes you physically, mentally, psychologically. spiritually, every way. And I feel like we don't have enough conversation. So people are becoming mothers and they are not as prepared, or they are shocked by the realities. Motherhood comes at a cost. At a cost to your career, at a cost to your time, to your body, to your sleep, at a cost to even sometimes to your marriage, because before it's you and your husband, you're doing lovey-dovey, and then now there's someone is demanding of your time, your money, your attention, your prayers. So it comes at a cost. And if we have real conversations where people are saying it as it is, that it's not always going to be hunky-dory. Like, beyond all those snapbacks, I've not snapped back. I will snap back.
What is even the snapback say?
That your tummy that was flat before, you will now
leave us like that.
I'm not, but I'm on my
on the journey.
I'm on the journey.
People like us that we are still on the journey of even producing more.
I know.
Before you snap back, another one has entered.
I'm telling you.
This life.
So no, motherhood changes you. It changes even the dynamics of your friendships, because I find that a lot of people don't really understand that at the core of it, you're still the same person. Just because you now wear the hat of wife, mother, CEO, whatever, you're still that person. But I find, and this is not just me, that once you get married, start having kids, maybe your single friends who are not on that same journey with you might just, and it's not always from a bad place. It might just be a place of, she won't have time, or she's with her husband, she's with her children. So maybe they are going out. You're not top of the list because they've already made excuses for you. And sometimes those excuses are valid. Sometimes they are not. Sometimes a mother just wants to be herself, like without all the titles. So it changes the dynamics, friendship, where people want to invite you to, what people expect of you. Oh, now that you're a mother, now that you're a wife, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that. What will your husband say? What will this? And it shouldn't be like that. At the core of it, we're still human beings. And I don't think that if we flip the conversation, does it affect men as much?
I don't think so.
No, now that you're a father, we're not going to invite you to come out.
It doesn't happen. I don't think I've heard any conversation like that.
No, you cannot be doing anything. You can't be hanging out with us again, or you can't. No. Yes, it affects more. Even like whether it's father or a husband, is like nobody's going to say, oh, because you're a husband now, you shouldn't be seen in certain places. Like, please, let's be real. Like, most times guys get a pass, and women, once you take on certain responsibilities, it's like even affects the dynamics in a relationship. I've heard of people saying that this is the mother of my children, we shouldn't be doing this and that as a married couple. I'm like, I don't understand what you were doing as a married couple before. So because this she's going to use that mouth to kiss your child, explain it to me. So it really does. And if we have conversations like this, we begin to force people to think and reconsider. Sometimes someone will say, I don't want to reach out to Isabella, or I don't want to reach out to this person because maybe they are pregnant or they are breastfeeding.
And so
I'm like, okay, so because I'm pregnant, is it not my mouth I'm using to do the work? Did I tell you that I can't MC? How do you know that I don't even need that money?
And this is so profound. And I'm happy because I had this mindset block when I got this new role. I don't know if I had the conversation. No, okay, I didn't mention it in our conversation, where I got scared that because I started the job conversation before realizing I was pregnant. And then I got scared that when I got to the final stage of medicals, that when they realize I'm pregnant, they will not want to take me. To the point that I had to call the HR to say, I'm pregnant. Do you know the question she asked me that just snapped me out? She said, okay, so are you sick? I said no. She said, okay, you're pregnant. It means you can't do the job? I said no. I was just informing you in case that's a problem. She said no. It's not a problem if it's not a problem to you. It's only if you tell us that because you're pregnant, you cannot do the job, no problem. I said, no, I can do it. But you see that some of this mindset, maybe from cultural experiences or expectations or societal expectations, we think that because we carry the tag of a mother, there are other things that have to take the back seat. And that leads me to my next question. You're very ambitious. You have two on that. You know, you are the typical proper definition of two under two. Or was it two under
That one is 2 and one is 3.
That's what I'm saying. What I mean is two under two is like
yes.
so
But
you
at
had
a
them,
point, yes.
you had them back to back.
Yes.
I remember on our trip, you had a baby and you were pregnant when you were
Yes.
traveling out.
Yes.
So at no point have these, all of you being a mother, stopped your ambition. You still show up as Isabella. Maybe different seasons will call for more, but you found a way to navigate around this. And I want you to touch a bit about the experiences and if there's a framework that's helped you, honestly, for many new mothers, because I've had conversations with new moms and many of them are struggling, especially those that are ambitious. How have you been able to? Maybe we can take a cue from there.
Yeah, motherhood came at a it was a big shock, I won't lie. Just the effect it has on your body, even pregnancy. Let's start from there. I'm very energetic, but during pregnancy I was like, who is this person? Is it me? I didn't have that energy anymore. And I don't think, when people are posting baby bump, they tell you all these things that first trimester is like this, don't worry, second trimester your energy will come, third trimester. So that already, I didn't feel like myself. Then giving birth, breastfeeding, trying to navigate it all, it was a lot. But what I will say, the biggest framework is have a loving husband.
Number one, jot this down.
The person that you choose to marry
Right.
or go on this relationship, parenting relationship with is so important because my husband was there with me in the delivery room. He, we didn't have help for a long time, which is something that I don't advise you to do. But me, I've been there, done that. I've gone from judging women who have more than one, like they have 2 nannies. I'll be like, you have 2 nannies,
You have a
cook,
you have a
you have
cleaner.
driver, you have a cleaner, and
What are you now doing?
Exactly. What are you now doing? I was like, when I get married, I'm the one that will cook. I'll take care of my kids. I'm going to do ambition. I'm going to do everything. And I told one of my friends, Doshima,
Woman.
and she was like, no, but it was almost like, don't worry, you will get there and you will see. And so I've been there, done that. I've done the one without any help. I've done the one of having a live out help. I've had live out and live in, and now I have 2 living nannies, and I have someone that comes maybe once a month to do like general cleaning. But even with all of that, I still do work. My husband still does work in the house. We still take care of the kids. We still help, like we do work. We're not just sitting down crossing our legs. But what I found is that having help allows you to chase those dreams. For example, this content creation I'm doing, I got into an incubator and it required a 1-week residency. If I didn't have any help, how would I have gone? And my mind would be down when they said they have to campus. So having help is so important. Having a supportive partner, I can't stress that enough. And in going back to your why, if your why is you want to leave Nigeria a better place, and right now you can't get into politics for whatever reason, in the work you are doing, how can you make Nigeria a better place? So for me, whether it's as a broadcaster, whether it's as a cultural ambassador, whether it's me being an Alaga or a presenter or an MC, how am I representing my country? How am I changing the narrative around Nigeria? So you go back to your why, and then you have to be honest with yourself that, okay, at this point, I can't do certain things. While I went to have my kids abroad, I had to turn down MC jobs because I was physically, it was impossible.
It was impossible.
But trust me, an MC job came a week, it wasn't up to a week after I had my child, my first child, and it was virtual. And I took it, and I purposely didn't tell them because of what you said. It was after I had done it virtually that I now said, by the way, my son is maybe 5 days or 6 days or however days, and they were all shocked, or maybe 2 weeks, and they all congratulated me. But that fear is so valid that you're working in an organization and they tell you can't have 2 kids in the same time because of your maternity leave and your annual leave, or they start saying, oh, they're not going to hire you because you are pregnant. Look, if you are pregnant and you are doing the work and something should happen, you have a complicated pregnancy, it is their responsibility to take care of you, because all the time that you were okay and you were making money for the company, uncle, if it was a man, what would they do? If men and women were getting pregnant, those males, would they not make the decision for their gender? It's because most times it is men that don't understand what women go through that are making those decisions. And I can bet my bottom dollar that HR person was a woman and was probably asking you like, okay, you're pregnant, like
It
so.
was such a liberation for me because it was a huge burden in our hearts because we knew that we had gotten to the last stage. But then pregnancy. So I started calculating. I will just resume and then I'll now go on maternity leave.
And some people will hide it and collect the job.
Funny enough, when I resumed, my boss realized asked me, "You're pregnant?" I said, "Yes." Hey, God, in my head, I started calculating again. It was not like, and I said, "No, but it was like, no, why you?" He said, it's fine. And I said, "Don't worry, I'll resume on time and then I'll take shorter maternity leave." He said, "The job is always here."
Low baton. And let me tell you something. If all of us women, at least for now, men can't have children. If every woman says because they are chasing ambition and the workplace is not supportive, we all decide to stop having kids. Trust me, there will be no work because there will be nobody to do the work.
Right.
This work we are doing pays companies. It pays organizations because you need the human resource. But the human resource is not created in a lab. Even if you create it, it still needs a human being to bring it, a woman to give birth. So if you know that the end product is still going to, how do you know the child that you're going to have is not going to one day become the owner of that company?
Right.
Exactly. So we need to start thinking that, you know what, this is part of the circle of life, is continuity. And we should do everything to protect, to preserve, to support, to nurture that woman. And that's why we need more women in politics. We need more women in government. Because if we have women in government and they are making the laws that they are gender-friendly workplaces, that look, whether or not you are pregnant 2 times, 3 times, your job is your job. Do you know how liberating that will be?
Results as well.
Yes.
Right.
I worked in Nestlé. So Nestlé, because they sold breast milk substitutes, they will even give you a maternity leave, your annual
even
leave.
Where I'm working, it's so liberating to know that
so that you can do your 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding. So there are companies that are doing it for whatever reason that they are doing it. But we need to take the lead. Like, women need to get into those positions of power and advocate, legislate for better working conditions, especially for pregnant, nursing, working mothers. And it doesn't end with nursing and pregnancy, because when your children grow up, they will need your attention. You will need to go for their inter-house sports, school runs and everything. Right. So flexible working conditions.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, look, moving away from corporate to the mindset of the women, right? Because I've also had conversation with women who have, for some, on this lead cadre now, on some people they know that they want more from life, but they are scared that, can I balance being a mother with doing other things, either as an entrepreneur or career person, or just, so what's your advice? Just how can we shift the mindset of some of those women to know that motherhood is not the only identity you can take on per time? Right.
That question, you can only find an answer if you try. Can I balance motherhood with skit making and content creation? You won't know until you try. And that's what has worked for me. I give it a try. My dreams deserve a try. I might fail at it. And one thing I've realized is that there are seasons. There are some seasons that the demands of motherhood will pull stronger. And there are some seasons that your career will pull stronger. Look, I've seen mothers who, they got a role abroad, like Nestlé, and this role required them maybe moving away for a year or 9 months. And they took that hard decision to leave their baby with their mom, their partner, and they went abroad and they came back. And let me tell you something, your child will still love you. Don't feel that because you're getting help, whether it's a nanny, a loved one, your partner is not even help. Your partner is his responsibility. Yes. But whichever way, don't feel because you're not there 24/7 for your child doesn't mean that you're not a good mother. So sometimes the battle is in your mind that you're already feeling that you have failed because you're not all these things. I've repented. I'm not superwoman. And I'm okay with, other people providing care. I'm okay with other people taking responsibility, because what about the times when the 9 months that it was just me carrying this baby? Right. What about the times when it was just me breastfeeding? I was producing the milk. Somebody else could take the express milk. So I feel like it's give and take. And you should know that You will never know if you don't try. So try it and give yourself grace to fail at it, to succeed at it, and to take the lessons from it. Nobody has it figured out, but you need to just try and know that your dreams are still valid. And women need to stop this whole thing that to be the perfect mother and be the perfect wife, these are the things. No, it does not exist. It doesn't exist. What if your purpose at that point involves you staying out of the home, and that's why God has blessed you with a very hands-on partner? What if, God forbid, but what if you are going to die in 2 years and you never gave your partner, your husband, the chance to rise up to the occasion as a father and provide care for his children, which is his responsibility? He's not helping you. Have you helped him? Have you helped your children? Because we always take it for granted that we're going to be here forever. If we're not here forever and we die, God forbid, in 2 years, our children will still grow and they will still become successful people. We all know people that we went to school with, that they lost their mom, they lost their dad. Did they not turn out okay? Is it maybe their dad even remarried somebody else on the day of their wedding? They are calling their stepmom. So we have to take it that we, as much as we are irreplaceable, we are very replaceable too.
How?
We are.
Wow.
We are very replaceable.
Yes. So what I hear you is every season calls for different depths. There are some seasons in your motherhood journey that you need to show up more as a mother. But there are also some seasons where you have to find support somehow. Like you got in the system that work. I remember the last conversation and it got me thinking really hard, where you said you have nannies. It doesn't mean you don't show up, because I see you post your children. You are still that mother.
Showing up also means you succeeding in your career. I have a daughter. I have a son. When they see me go out, what I'm teaching them is that when my son grows up and he marries a woman, he won't say that because his mother stayed at home from morning to night is now foreign. It's okay if a woman decides to be a stay-at-home mom. It's very okay. Yeah. But at the same time, I also want him to see that this path I've chosen is very normal. So he's not going to go and marry someone and expect the person to do all the work in the house, expect the person not to have a career because he has watched his mom have a career. I also want my daughter to see me and know that she can be everything and anything she wants to be. She can be a mother, she can be a broadcaster, she can be a presenter, Alaga, whatever it is. That being a mother did not stop me from expressing myself and going after my God-given dreams. So showing up as a mother involves you stepping out of the home and rising up to the occasion, whether it's at work, ministry, your calling, volunteering, even when you stay at home as a mother, so that you don't lose your mind and your sanity. You still need to have a life.
Yes.
You still need to have friends.
So it doesn't have to be corporate. It doesn't have to be business.
Even if you are a stay-at-home mom, you should have hobbies. You should have friends. You should have things that are taking you out of the home. If not, you will lose your mind and you will fight with everybody, because your husband is going out. He has outlets. He has friends. He has work and everything. But you are there morning to night. So as soon as he comes, you want to draw from him. But imagine if you were also investing in yourself. As a stay-at-home mom, imagine if you decided you wanted to go for another degree, or you wanted to have a pet project, or you wanted to volunteer in the community, or you wanted to take on maybe a training or something.
I love this. So it's not just about saying, because we're talking about ambition, you don't have to be in the marketplace. So even if you decide to be a stay-at-home mom, you can be productive. I remember Voices with Victoria was actually formed because when I got pregnant my first and I gave birth, I resigned, right? And I started staying at home. So I could have taken it as being a stay-at-home mom, but I knew that at some point I got so frustrated. For somebody like me who is very energetic, I was like, God forbid, but no. I had to start thinking. So even if at that point in time I didn't want to work a corporate job, I had to be creative. And I started Voices with Victoria in my sitting room. So the point I'm hearing you is that find an outlet of expression.
Oh, yes.
Regardless. So think about it. Is it content creation now? Is it taking up a course like you said? This is such a powerful and liberating thought that you've just given us.
Yes, if not, you'll be drawing so much emotionally from your children, from your husband.
So you're trying to fill up.
Yes, because they have outlets. Your children will go to school and play with their friends. Your husband will go to work. He will engage with his colleagues and his friends. But you say because you're a mother, you shouldn't have friends again. You shouldn't hang out again. You shouldn't have hobbies again. You shouldn't this. You'll be depleted. See, A mother needs to be well for herself before she can take care of anybody. That's why they say in the airplane that first sort yourself out before you start sorting out any child. If you are not rested, if you are not productive, you are not engaged, you are not at peace with yourself, you feel so frustrated, emotionally depleted, what do you want to give your children and your husband? You can't pour out of an empty cup.
Absolutely. This has been such a profound conversation, and I want us to keep going. But because of time, we just have to wrap it up here. I want to say a very big thank you. But before we go, can you give us final words to two sets of people? First, to young moms listening to this, just speak to us. Speak to me. Speak to other people. Right, that's the thing. Speak to us. He said we're off winging it out. We're winging it. But let's wing it. And then the second set of people, especially in this age of social media, we see a lot. People are leading perfect life. People will look at you and say, you are leading a perfect life. You have 2 perfect children. It's like you've cracked the code on how to be a perfect mom, perfect this, perfect wife, and everything. How can we understand the journey that we are, not just stay put and be grounded in where we are? Yeah, let's just end on that.
So your first question to young mamas. I'm a young mommy. I'm under 40, so I'm still very young.
Yes.
And my kids are young. So there are some people that are younger than me, but their kids are older. So they've spent a longer time in motherhood. I would say that, first of all, I'm clapping for you.
Yes.
I'm saying well done. I'm saying thank you. And I'm giving you a pat on the back. I'm taking it on your behalf. Really, first of all, it's a huge sacrifice, and you need to appreciate yourself. Even if nobody appreciates you, appreciate yourself, and don't belittle motherhood. People die in pregnancy. People lose their lives. People lose their children in that labor room. So it's a miracle that you're here, you're standing, you're breathing. So first of all, thank you. And you're keeping humanity going. So that's a gift to the world. Next, I'll say, go back to your purpose. Like when you, whether it's your spirituality, you've discovered it, maybe God has placed something in your heart, or you've seen through your work or your ministry, your volunteering, you've discovered your calling. Please, please, please don't say because you're a mom, you should now ignore, forget, delay. You can decide that, okay, I have 100% of time. I want to give 80% to motherhood at this stage. That remaining 20%, find some of it for that purpose, that calling. Because your motherhood journey can also be a blessing to somebody as you continue in that role, whether it's formal, informal, please. So don't lose sight of the fact that beyond motherhood, you are still this amazing person and you have so much that you've brought to the table. And always think about it that tomorrow, how do I want to live my life? Do I want to live my life with regrets, or do I want to know that I've tried? I failed in the process of it, but I've tried. So please, we don't know when we're going to leave. And our hope is that we die empty.
Yes.
And we are not on that deathbed saying, had I, could I wish I could, if only. So that's the first thing. And to your next question, really about the pressure, I think, is a lot. But some days you will fail at motherhood, and guess what? It's okay. Forget social media. I don't know why we feel like we must all arrive at the same time, or we must all be perfect. When you were learning multiplication table, you didn't learn it immediately. Some of us, we learned it over and over and over again. Some of us still today, maybe 2 times table is easier than maybe 7 or one of those numbers. So if it's okay for you to take your time to learn a new concept, why is it not okay for you to take your time to learn motherhood and fail at it? There are some days you give motherhood 100%, and there are some days you give it 0%, but have that solid structure. A loving, committed, hands-on partner, husband, a structure of help, whether it's nannies, caregivers, your mom, family, whatever you call it. Even if it means at 3 months you're taking your baby to a daycare so that you can just go and sleep because you are losing your mind from breastfeeding round the clock. It's okay. You deserve it. So have that support system, have that structure, and just remove the pressure that, you know what, it's like the advice I got as a content creator from Jay on Air. It was like likes, followers, reshares, posts, all those things I leave them. They are not in your control. There are some things that are not in your control. Do the work and then leave the rest, because your own is to do the work. And if you're a spiritual person, you're a person of faith, please, this is the time to hold your God stronger, because He alone can provide that guidance. Sometimes the Bible says there's a way in a man's heart that seems right, but it leads, yes, so it leads to death, destruction, despair, disappointment. So that's why at the end of the day, if you have God as your anchor, you might still fall down a couple of times, but He will guide you through it. And yeah, that's what I would say that has really helped me. And yeah, watch podcasts like this, because you will hear live and direct, real conversations, not airbrushed Instagram feed, curated and everything. Please watch and listen and learn from others.
Please, I want you to talk a bit about for family, because we're going to wrap up now. But again, because this conversation is mostly for mothers, and I'm sure that partners are also listening to this, and there are lots of other conversations that you've anchored in your show as well. So maybe spotlight on it and where people can quickly watch as a continuum of this conversation.
Thank you for that. I will come on someone's show and start following my own.
It's fine.
But yes, please check us out for Families Podcast. If you go on YouTube, just check for Dot Studios. That is DOTTS Studios. And for Families Podcast, we have conversations on children, marriages, on parents, everything in between. Whether it's surrogacy, having triplets, family finance, relocating for love. Please, like, there's nothing that's off limits. And it's growing. We've done quite a number of episodes. We finished season 1. I'm not sure when this will come out, but yes, check us out. And we have real conversations, just like here. We don't. My guests don't hold anything back. If you want to see her and her husband, I don't know if her husband will agree to come on Voices with Victoria.
I'm begging him. I don't know how he agreed for her own.
If he does not come, you come and watch the two of them, or for Families Podcast.
Yeah, right. Amazing. Thank you so much, Isabella. Thank you for coming here and sharing. Honestly, thank you for pouring your heart at this conversation. And I want to thank you for also listening and watching. Please do all to share, comment, share it with your tribe of mothers, of women, mothers to be as well. And let's just keep the conversation going. Do well to follow us at Voices with Victoria on Instagram and at Victoria Ndu. This is where it shifts. And I hope that you've gotten a shift in your mindset and you've gotten power, joy, wisdom from our guest today to keep on becoming the best version of yourself. Until we meet again, do have a great time. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching Voices with Victoria. Please like, leave a comment, subscribe, and share. Cheers!